What's up, you bunch of low-lifers? Damn these.
It happens every night.
Every old night.
And I ain't never met a riverboat
Nope.
that could ever be a friend of mine.
I have
heat never treats me
not.
kind. It leaves trouble on my mind. So I'm bidding farewell, putting in my notice, and I'll see you.
Cheers, everybody. My camera's all screwed up.
This highway does not know my name, and I don't care.
No.
No, I don't care.
Thought you was on Central Time.
Heading
Man.
my way for another place, and I got 3 good tires and a spare. Just a white line gypsy getting out of Mississippi with just enough gas to get there.
Low. Y'all killing me. Budget live. Actually live from the Low Budget Live Bar and Grill. I see y'all chirping. This is the podcast for Monday, May the 6th. And I see y'all guessing about all these guests that we could have. I mean, who's coming, who's not going to be on here, that kind of stuff. So there's a reason for the delay, and I appreciate each and every one of you tuning in, you bunch of low-lifers. We did have 2 guests lined up. We got just see Patrick Sharp talking about one of our guests tonight in the comments. We had 2 guests lined up, and you know I am a Zach Burge fan. I love me some Zach Burge, and I've known him for a very, very long time, and so happy for him and his family. And we had it lined up, but let me show you real quick what Mr. Burge has going on right now. So just got off the phone with Zach, and y'all be thinking about them right now out there. Oklahoma getting absolutely hammered. And so Zach is not going to join us. They're in for a rough night tonight, and storm sheltering it up right now. And so I think we'll end up doing a pod this week, hopefully. But we do have yeah, Scott, I'm with you. It's heading our way. It's going to be bumpy around here as well in southern middle Tennessee. Yeah. Tornadoes, Patrick just said, damnators 2 weeks in a row. Yeah, they got hammered during the Eufaula BPT. Absolutely horrible. But Zach and I talked earlier today. We lined it up, and he said, the only way I will miss is if these tornadoes do what they could potentially do. And so he said, we'd probably be in the storm shelter around that time, buddy. And we just talked just a little bit ago, and he said, absolutely sorry. So apologize about that, about being late. But yeah, I'm out on all things spinny clouds. I am not a fan, and so many people and so many towns have just been destroyed lately by those things, man. I appreciate you, Steve, very much. I actually saw Boyd and asked if he would sponsor LBL. He does not have a sense of humor. Trey, I wish I could get you on the show right now to Trey Lee says, I actually saw Boyd Duckett and asked if he would sponsor LBL, and he does not have a sense of humor. I bet he doesn't. You know, I feel like he doesn't like to joke around very often. It's when it comes to the Low Budget Live, the thing we call Low Budget Live here in southern middle Tennessee. But hope you're all doing well out there, man. It's been, man, so many events going on in bass fishing. I want to say a huge congrats to Josh Butler. Josh Butler winning the Bassmaster Open there on Logan Martin. Josh, for those of you that doesn't know, man, he's been in the invitationals. He has been around a minute. He has won on the Alabama Bass Trail. There's no telling how many checks he cut during the ABT. And he is a freak of nature with a rod and reel. I got pissed. Imagine that. I got pissed on social media yesterday because I was reading Hudson had a basketball game. And Hang on a second. There are so many great comments coming in. I'm going to tell the story, then I've got to get to a couple of these. But because they're amazing. But I was at Hudson's basketball game and I was going through a Facebook post about him winning that. And there were just so many people saying, well, because he is a younger guy, I guess, but Josh is not, one of these straight out of college kind of guys. And people were saying Bass is only about the new guys and these scopers this and scopers that. And dude, Josh is not that, like, historically. Like, he's just not. So Chad W. Butler spun out a minute Saturday and gathered it up, straight hammer. I didn't get to see it, man. I was working Arkansas Fish and Game Foundation tournament for Express Boats and for the folks there with the Arkansas Game and Fish Foundation. I was emceeing their Commissioner's Cup high school event. It was awesome Saturday. So I did not get to see any of the coverage, but pretty dang awesome event, and awesome to see Josh Butler. Kyle Austin got him another top 10 out of that. My buddy Zeke Gossett got him a top 10 down there on the home pond in the Bassmaster event. So really good tournament. But yeah, I wish people would throttle back sometimes with comments about the youth and all this. Speaking of, this microphone's pissing me off. I need to hear from the lowlifers on this Trey McKinney, Gerald Swindle thing. And of course, I'll give you my 2 cents because I'm always going to. But G posted a video. If you haven't seen it, go to Facebook and check it out. It might be on Instagram as well. I have talked to Gerald about this situation. I have heard the ins and outs of it, and it's disappointing how this thing's kind of shaken out. I was proud that Gerald made a video to kind of tell his side of it from the standpoint of, man, I've seen people just absolutely hammering Gerald in the comments for being the one that turned Trey in for running the no-wake zone. Gerald made a video about it and talked about how he handled the situation and how he went up to Trey as Trey was being interviewed and told him, hey, I turned you in, or I'm going to turn you in, and gave him the opportunity to turn himself in. And then that turned into Trey saying, good for you, which I've heard may have had some more expletives in it, but he's perfect. So I doubt he said that. But I think that Gerald was 1,000,000% in the right. And look, and not just because he's a dear friend of mine, right? Trey was penalized with a 30-minute or an hour delay. That was it. Didn't cost him the event or anything. But my thing is, he went to him to tell him, hey man, this is what's going to happen. It's a sport where we have to self-police. Okay. And so if you don't do it, 90 minutes penalty. Scott McNair coming in hot in the comments, but we do have to self-police. And I think that without it, the sport is just more reckless than it already is. There's a lot of crazy gray area and rule breaking kind of stuff that you hear about a lot, especially when you're in the position I am. You do hear about it a lot, but something had to be said. And I hate the way that was blown out of proportion about Gerald. Gerald himself has been DQ'd for things over the years, and like he said in his video, so was little Trey Swindle with an opportunity to win. Nothing that impacted him, gave him an advantage. I mean, in the tournament and the insurance thing, Trey didn't cross the T's and dot the I's. Little Trey Swindle, he got DQ'd. I've given him a hard time about it. And it is indeed one of those situations where I feel like, and I always felt like every tournament that I ever fished, that if I saw something wrong, that I should report it or I'm violating the rules, right? That's how I always looked at it. That's how it was expressed to me. And I would hope that if somebody saw me breaking one, that they would indeed let me know, hey man, you did this, or call the tournament director. I don't know. I thought it was pretty straight up and down, right? Like no smoke and mirrors behind it. It is what it is. Trey's a young man, should have watched the rules meeting. It's very clear that he didn't. He probably will from here on out. Hopefully it won't be a costly mistake for him. He's in that Angler of the Year lead, but I remember being 18 too, man. I can't imagine being on that stage and the pressure that he feels. And so I just hate to see people giving somebody a hard time for giving somebody a hard time for doing what's right. Because I feel like so many times in this sport, myself included, we do harp on the negative, right? Or we tell you kind of what's going on from a shady behind the scenes perspective. And I think the fact that Gerald Swindle did something good should be applauded. And it wasn't to give G an advantage in the tournament. I've seen so many comments, man, well, these older guys don't like these younger guys. Well, that might be the case. I don't know, man. But again, I see y'all's comments. G. Yeah. Lots of Gerald Swindle love in the comments, and rightfully so on that one. And that's no shade at Trey. I'm not trying to throw shade at Trey. He should have watched the damn meeting and understood the rules for that deal a little bit better, right? Nick coming in hot and says little shit still finished in the high 20s or low 30s. Yeah, he called him. Like, he overcame it. Like, that was the first big curve he's been thrown on the Elite Series, and he got it, and he swung and connected. And so he's still right there in the hunt. Something else I want to talk with you guys about. We got a couple more minutes before our guest joins us, and I am very excited about this guest, but I wouldn't want to be on G-Man's shit list. I've been on it. I've been on his shit list before, and it's not fun. Almost 200,000 on Low Budget Life. Get G on the phone. Dude, I guarantee you right now he wouldn't answer. We have somebody coming on in 25 minutes. I bet if I call Gerald right now, he won't answer. Hang on, we'll call him. I'm going to call him. Let's call Gerald Swindle. Let's see if this will work. He's not going to answer. There's a 0% possibility he's going to answer the phone. He will not answer. Trey might. G won't. No way. I told you. 0% chance. It's past 5 o'clock, dude. He's not going to answer the phone. It's a guarantee. Just proof that I am calling Gerald for anybody.
Your call has been full.
No, and I can't believe his voicemail box is not full, because normally it says that. G ain't ever gonna ask. G is he knows, trust me, that I'm doing this tonight. That'll be the last phone call he answers. But if he had of, it would have been fun. It would have been a good time. I'm late to the party. Michelle's been fishing boat docks. I want to go back to something real quick. I know I'm all over the place as usual. Hang on a second. M. Jones came in hot with one that I missed. Right here. Is this true? They kicked me out of Boyd Duckett Marine for wearing my FBD hat and shirt. And I almost have to say, I get it. I get why they would. But is that true? Come on. That is wild, man. Yep. G is in bed, getting his knees wrapped. G's in an ice bath. Probably. He's probably filming a video about it. You can't get in an ice bath and not film a video, man. That's one of my pet peeves in life. If you get in an ice bath, you got to tell everybody about it. That's for sure. Hey, let me thank a couple sponsors real quick. I know y'all know the drill, but I really appreciate these folks as much as I appreciate y'all low lifers. 203,000 strong right now. But go to gillfishing.com first and foremost. Gill Fishing gets you a gift with code LBL gift. I believe it's a waterproof Voyager backpack right now. If you spend $100, LBL gift. Pro Guide Batteries, ProGuideBatteries.com. You can check out their new chargers. You can check out those lithium batteries. You can use code LBL10 at ProGuideBatteries.com to let them know you're a low lifer. And man, I will say, out at Hot Springs, Arkansas this past weekend, and everybody always tells you these same kind of stories, I know, but legitimately didn't charge my batteries for a couple of days and fished, and it never ceases to amaze me how long those Pro Guides last and how quick they bounce back when you do put them on the charger once you get back home. So check them out, ProGuideBatteries.com. Bait-WRX. Let's talk about this right here. Can we? The LOB jig. Who in the comments has an LOB jig? Y'all hit me up. I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, this thing gets a bite. I know I say it all the time. I designed it, whatever. Dude, this thing is silly, the number of bites it gets. The new color rooster is awesome, but I was throwing black and blue. I night fished at Lake Hamilton this weekend, And because that was about really the only time I had got to go out. This thing absolutely slayed. So LOBjig bait-wrx.com Duncan-10 is where you can get it. And Express Boats, hang the freaking banner. Where's my button? It's not working. I don't know what's going on. The imaginary banner. We don't have the banner this week, but man, every time I'm around the Express Boats folks, it just solidifies even more that they are like a family. Great people. I got to spend a couple days out there with that crew. The new H20 is something. Go check it out. I got to dig all around in one at the Arkansas Game and Fish Foundation Commissioners Cup there, and it is a very slick ride, rated for a 175. Very, very cool. All right, here we go. I saw a question. Express Boats building excitement since 1966. 136 volt or 312 volts. So last year on Pro Guides, talking, hey, I like boat setup questions. Let's talk about that. I am actually running 2 of the 36s kind of in conjunction right now, if that makes sense. 2 of those. And then I ran 3 of the individual 12s last year, though. No issues whatsoever. Great batteries. I'm actually, and kind of not supposed to promote this, I guess. I don't know, because some engine companies get kind of swirly, but I'll say it anyways. I actually am running lithium cranking batteries, and I'm running a secondary lithium for my electronics this year too, which has been really cool. Trent Palmer at Sonar Pros, he's got a very neat system that he puts together if you're running that second battery. And man, it's really, really cool. He's got a, like, I guess it's an inverter almost that pulls off of the alternator on the big engine to charge that second battery as you're running as well, because you know your starting battery, every time you're running down the lake, obviously it's getting a little juice, getting a little feedback, right? Well, that secondary battery does not. Well, he has a system at Sonar Pros that he put in my boat, and dude, it's pretty cool setup. So anyway, shout out to Trent Palmer. Express needs to build some X21s. I was there Thursday pretty much all day, and they were building them. Express Boats should do an owner's tournament. That is something I have told them. 236 volts seem like a good idea just in case one dies. Yeah, and I don't look. There are situations I like to stand on the trolling motor, but I've never been able to kill the 312s, right? But this year, the all-in 136, those are new for the folks at Pro Guide. So that was something that I wanted to try. I'm running 2 side by side, and man, it's like I fish in the current a ton. You can stand on it. Yeah, 236s in parallel. Sorry for my I'm all over the place today with my terminology. M Jones coming in hot right there. But 220 in the room and only 35 likes. They don't like me, TJ Fishing. Y'all like it. Like and subscribe. Isn't that what you're supposed to say on YouTube? Saw one of those Express Boats. Ronnie Mueller coming in hot on Lake Murray today. Luke, prepare to walk in with me to purchase my Express X21. Man, if Duncan 10 worked on one, I'd go with you, buddy. I would go with you. Here we go, David Fields. When is Southern Boating Supply dropping an electric jack plate? I don't know about the electric part, but stay tuned. That's all I'll say. Stay tuned. We're working on a lot of things. Y'all let me ramble about that for a second if y'all don't care. Southern Boating Supply is really, I know I haven't shown y'all anything yet. Really, product-wise, we're working on stuff every day. We've got some things we're already selling to some boat builders. We're already shipping. We actually just got our first check in the mail for the first invoice that we shipped a little bit ago. So things are starting to happen, and it's exciting, man. It's very exciting. But there are things that the general public will never see that we have, little widgets and things that the boat builders use a lot of, that kind of thing. We're doing some custom projects for some boat builders. So I've got I've got a lot going on with that, but man, we're working on so many things that we'll be able to show you very, very soon that I'm freaking pumped about it, to say the least. I'm going hard, man. I'm going hard in the paint, traveling like crazy, and it's a labor of love, man. I'm so grateful for the opportunity. I know I say that all the time on here, but I'm grateful for the opportunity to get to do it and get to put my name on these parts and show them. So I've been to a lot of boat builders. Everybody's been really receptive. It's been a lot of damn fun, man. So I'm tired. I'm not gonna lie. I'm going pretty hard right now. I travel and then I do, come home, do the ABT, or come home and do an MPFL or whatnot, and so going pretty hard. But it's a good damn time. I saw one Bob's for the win. Yeah, Bob's makes a great jack play, no doubt about it. They've been making them for a minute, without a doubt. I see our guest waiting in the wings. He's getting set up here. Is he out of Buc-ee's? I don't know what's going on right now. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'm going to stop my rambling nonsense. He's here a little bit early, and we got 233,000 watching on Low Budget Live. So this guy's joining us from the side of the road. This is as low budget as it gets, and he's normally not low budget. He is normally high budget and doing things like raising incredible amounts of money for St. Jude's, and then showing up and showing out and winning the whole damn shooting match. Ladies and gentlemen, right here from the side of the road in his boat. What's up, Finger?
What's going on, Luke?
How are you, buddy?
Dude, I found a gas station that has a Lucky Jack's casino, a KFC, and a Subway. Look at this.
Is that heaven? That's what heaven is, isn't it? You low like going down the interstate.
Just outside of Shreveport, and then if you have a good night at Lucky Jack's, you can stay at the Mid-Continent Inn right next door.
The people in the background have no idea what's happening. They're like, this guy's in a bass boat and he's talking. There's people walking behind you. I love it. Welcome to Low Budget Live, Matt Pangrac. Dude, I texted you this morning. I saw your post. I'm always blown away by your work with St. Jude's anyways, but then to go win that event is so it had to be because you were in Memphis earlier this year with Fat Catch. You guys were over there actually boots on the ground with St. Jude's, man, and to go win that event that you guys worked so hard to raise money for, you got to be proud, man.
Yeah, it was cool. It's kind of a weird connection with them. So I got to know Adam Bartuzek, who he just had like a top 20 in the invitational on Kentucky. Like he actually got second in a Toyota, and then he flipped around and spent all that money hoping the fish were doing the same thing the following year. And I was like, that was the dumbest thing you could do. You're going to blow it. And then he cashed a check. So it worked out. But anyway, so I fished with him, and he kind of was like, hey, you need to come up for this tournament. And it's kind of one of those tournaments this year, like Matt Steffen showed up to support Miles Berghoff, who actually fished it. He got to fish his first tournament since his daughter Riley was diagnosed with neuroblastoma. So that was a kind of an emotional, cool deal to see him get back in tournament mode. But Fat Cat MCs it. Long story short, I wasn't really sure why I got involved because I don't have any direct connection to that. But then with what went down with Miles, with what I saw, how passionate everybody was, it is, I will say it is the premier charity tournament in the country as far as what it's raised and how much money it's raised. I don't know if there's a bigger one. They did $850,000 in a shortened year, in $852,000 raised, $1.1 million last year, over $7.5 million in the 26 years that they've done it. That tournament is part of that community pillar up in Wabasha. Everybody puts their heart and soul into it, and I didn't want to miss the dang thing, so I intentionally finished 123rd in the Open.
Through it
in Alabama. Who needs to catch 3-pound spotted bass when you can catch just enough? I wanted to top 125, so I got that 123rd out, and then I left my boat. It was a crazy sequence, and people are like, "You're nuts for doing this," but I was kind of committed to fishing that this year. The Dick Hiley. So Friday after weigh-in, I was lucky I got an early boat draw, so the sucking could quit earlier, but also so I could. I got off the water, and then I dropped my boat off at Joey Nania's church. And so I dropped it off there, and then I took my truck to the Birmingham airport, and I got a new truck now. I was on the phone with Kevin Ledoux, who's got an F-250. I've got 2,500. I'm like, hey, yours is leveled. You can fit in the parking structures. And he's like, son, it'll pucker you up, but yeah, no issue. So I drive into the parking structure. Those yellow bars that say 6 foot 10 inches, 6 foot 8 inches. Well, I hit that thing at 20 miles an hour, and it hits the top of my truck, and then I go under it. So now I've got in a quarter-mile parking thing. is let me know that my truck is going to get wedged in the parking structure. I'm trying to make my flight because I'm supposed to get in at 3 a.m. I have a 45-hour connection from Atlanta to Minnesota. So I end up having to like back out again. I don't know how I didn't do any damage. So I barely made my flight. My girlfriend had flown from Fort Worth to pick up a rental car at 10. So I get into Minnesota at like 12:30 in the morning on that Saturday morning. She drives me down to Wabasha. Bartuzek picks me up at 4:30. I put some reels on rods, and I'm fishing in the St. Jude at 6 a.m. the next morning.
Unbelievable. And
it was cool.
Unbelievable. And win the St. Jude's.
Yeah,
win the damn thing. Come on.
You fish team tournaments, right, Luke?
Oh, yeah.
So, like, you know how some team tournaments, like, you have some team partners that you, like, work really well with and others, but every once in a while you'll have one of those team tournaments where you're like, damn, the only reason we did this was because you said that. And then it just, like, it like, flows perfectly.
Yeah.
One guy's usually – so Adam had practiced for 4 days, and he had a game plan. He was betting on some stuff happening. So, I mean, like, I would have no idea how to catch a fish on that river this time of the year because, I mean, those are some tricky pools with some tricky backwaters in them. And he's like, I got these 2 little things. Dude, I was freaking unconscious with a drop shot. And we started out and just smashed them. We caught key fish when we needed to. Never lost one that didn't help. So yesterday we had this one fish. We fished for like 3 hours. It was big fish. And we went back with 5 minutes left, and it was a 413 smallmouth. Got it with like 5 minutes left. It was just like, I said, I got her. He goes, no way. And I said, yeah. And I just tightened into it. And it was, I think that was the one that made it for sure that we would win. But yeah, 25K. But the big number there is the 852,000 that we raised this year. Dude, there are some guys on the MPFL. So like, I know Kevin Rogers wanted to fish it with Matt Looney and wasn't able to this year. Asked me for the St. Jude contact, donated $10,000 to this tournament.
Come on, Kevin Rogers, man.
Unbelievable, dude. Yeah.
Unreal, man.
Phenomenal people in the fishing community. And we sold over, it was like $4,572 of BTL and St. Jude t-shirts, ATS printing. Did a really fantastic job of just charging the bare minimum for the t-shirts to cover costs. So we were able to maximize that. So yeah, a lot of great stuff for the fishing community. I hope to keep this tournament up in Wabasha special because it is special for where it is and what it does. And it has a special feel to it. But damn, it can get a lot bigger. We can raise a lot more money for St. Jude in the future as people get involved and as more awareness for this tournament kind of gets out there. But yeah, it was freaking badass to win. I'm not gonna lie, it was like really badass. Of course,
man. With all
we got the big check and all that.
Oh yeah, the Happy Gilmore check.
So much, yeah. It was super cool.
That's awesome, man. I'm very proud of you and for you. And you and I have talked about this before. When we do events like the Classic, we get to see the folks that listen to our show, right? We feel that support. You've been out and seen the low-lifers. They're a rowdy bunch getting out there. I know at the expos, you see that. We feel that. But, man, to put it in actual numbers, right? Like what you see with the St. Jude's donations, it just speaks to the fishing industry.
And I mean, there are teams that raise $50,000-$60,000 every single year that have fished it for 18 to 20 years. I mean, like 75% of the teams there. So they actually did a smart thing. And Gretchen, who kind of runs the whole thing, I don't know if it was intentional or how long they've been doing this or if this has been but how much money you raise as your team is your takeoff number for both days. And it's the first week of May on pools 4 and 5. So like you can kind of figure out what's going on that time of the year and in the backwater. So like if you're boat 5 both mornings, that's pretty strong. So I think like $78,000 was the team, first place team that raised the most. So we got to go out and boat 8. Actually, if it wasn't for Kevin Rogers, we wouldn't have had our starting stretch because he donated $10,000 that went to our team. So really we kind of owe him a little bit on the W, aside from Bart finding some awesome stretches, but we were able to get our starting stretch because we were boat 8 both days. But I think that's an awesome format for a charity tournament.
Shout out to the crappie king himself. That's what I like to call that man. But no, that's a fantastic event, and you know it does hit a little closer to home because one of our own is going through it with Sweet Riley. You know, with Miles, that has been a story that's kind of rocked all of us this year. And I know so many people deal with childhood cancer, and I've had a lot of dealings with cancer in my life. Never with a child, thank God. But it's to see what has gone on for Miles and them since they got to St. Jude's. I've texted with Miles about that. Just such an amazing place, man, that really does try to change lives for people and help people in these horrible situations. And so cool. I need to get Miles on to talk about the experience. I can only imagine that it was super emotional for him to get to fish that, because he hasn't got to fish a tournament, which that's his love, right? Just like ours. That's his passion, bass fishing, and in particular tournaments. And for that to be the first one back, that's pretty cool.
Believe it or not, he found like a money stretch apparently, because we rolled up and Bart, we saw this boat down there, and Bart's like, I was like, oh, they're hooked up on a good one. And Bart's like, no, they're not. That's a pike. They're not netting it. And then we saw him down again, and I realized, no, those are good bass. Miles doesn't carry a net in his boat. That's Miles. And he goes, well, let's go chat to him. And I'm like, dude, he's like in tournament mode. Like, he's the nicest guy off, but like in tournament. And it was cool to see him like in tournament mode for the first time this year. They waited
Uh-oh. I got you there.
You back?
Yeah, you cut out for a second. It may be.
Sorry. My
good.
no, that was my
probably Shreveport
live alarm.
Oh, that was your call LBL. The call LBL alarm.
It'll go off in 7 minutes again.
Time him, people. Time him. Get him in the comments. Well, I know that you've been involved with that event for a very long time, so obviously the win is huge. I have to ask this: did Fat Cat do anything stupid up there?
No,
like, did he embarrass himself, because he tends to do that?
Fat Cat MCs that event, and he does the banquet on Saturday night. Which, I mean, there's a St. Jude family there. Sometimes it's a St. Jude family with a kid who is 100% healthy and owes it to St. Jude. Sometimes it's a St. Jude family with a child in treatment. And, this year it was a St. Jude family who had a son in treatment and he passed away. So, I mean, that is a tough, it's a tough, but also celebratory evening as well. And Fat Cat does a great job. He's there at takeoff every single morning. He MCs the weigh-in. He truly does a great job out of the passion of his heart. A little bit about his backstory, so he's got a connection with that too. But a lot of people get to see the Fat Cat side, but this is the B side, and this is something that he's truly passionate about. It's really cool to talk and see him interact with all the people too, and him to donate his time for that. Yeah,
I can say personally that this event means more to him than anything else he could ever do. Day in and day out, we all love the things we get to do in this fishing industry, and we're blessed and grateful to get to do them. But that one event means so much to him. And man, I hate that I've never got to come up there. The last time I left the Mississippi River, I said I'd never go back, to be fair.
May 2nd through 4th next year.
All right, May 2nd.
Put it on the calendar.
May 2nd through the 4th. I'm gonna need you to remind me about that, and I know you will.
You've got the right boat to get around that pond.
Man, I don't know that I got the heart to do it, though. I'll be honest. Last time I was there, I was in a Ranger, to be fair, but I spent more time stuck than I did fishing.
You should see those guys, like what they run on that stuff. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's intense, dude.
And then you'll run it and you'll be like, we're the only ones here. And then you'll pop back into it and there'll be like 7 guys on one bank. Like, you're like, how did everyone run this? There'll be like a freaking Lund back in there. And you're like, what the hell?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've seen it, man. I've seen it with my own eyes. I fished a Brian Robinson tournament.
Yeah, out of the same pool.
Yeah, same pool. And man, to see what guys were running, I'm like idling, trying to idle in these places. People just come by you or throw their hands up like, why in the hell are you right here? Get on past. I'm like, because.
And I don't get the current seam thing too, and like how they read the river. It's freaking crazy. Like where you stop and fish, you're like, what's different about this seam than the other 95 seams that we pass?
I think it's the most intimidating fishery I've ever been on. I'll say that. And I love rivers. I love current. I fished the Coosa River. I've grown up on the Tennessee River. Nothing about that place made sense to me when I was there. Nothing. I mean, once I got in the backwater and I'm fishing pads or whatever, okay, cool. But like the current seam stuff was what I wanted to do when I was there, going up there thinking, oh, I'll figure this deal out. It's current. It's smallmouth. Dude, so backwards from anything that I've ever seen.
Here's what I'll say about this, because I'm encouraging people. There were 2 or 3 teams that fished this year, because I talked about it on BTL and they came down. One was from the Ozark area, like Kansas City. And if you're not into that, if you're not into the backwater stuff, you can compete in this tournament. You can take a left out of the ramp. It's a straight shot, like 4 miles, and you're in Lake Pepin. And Lake Pepin fishes like a lake. It has marinas and riprap and points and contours and no current and very little current in it. And it's a big lake. So if you want to fish it and fish Lake Pepin, you can totally compete in Lake Pepin without, worrying about getting stuck for 3 days
on a sandbar and having to call Tom Mansour.
Like 2 years ago, I caught a 570 out of Lake Pepin in this event on a jerkbait. Yeah. We had like 21 a smallmouth out of the lake.
Dang it. I don't think I knew that was a deal up there. Now, where are you headed right now to be in Shreveport?
So I left my truck at the airport. So then after the event, I flew out. I drove up to, what day of the week is it?
Maddie, you need some rest. It is Monday, buddy. Monday.
Okay. So yesterday was the last day of the tournament. And then this morning at 5, flew out of Minneapolis to Atlanta to Birmingham, picked up the truck, picked up the boat. Now I'm driving home. BTL tomorrow at noon. Bart will be on. And I think Miles might jump on to talk a little bit about it. And then hopefully I'm not cleaning up tornado debris. And then I leave on Friday to drive to South Carolina for a OBT media event that we have. So.
Okay. I was going to ask, because you're in Shreveport right now, Zach Burge was going to join me tonight as well. Have both winners on here. And Zach sent me a picture of the radar, and then he called and said, Bud, I'm out. We're going to be in the it's
that's
nasty.
Not a good deal right there. So I was supposed to go home. So my girlfriend Courtney lives in Fort Worth. So I'm actually going to Fort Worth to stay at her house tonight, and then I'll drive home tomorrow morning. Okay. You know how that is. You don't want to mess around with that stuff. It's no joke around.
Especially at night, right? You can't see it coming. Like there's nothing scarier than being on the road when all that stuff.
Especially after what all those got. Like all those BVT guys with what they went through at Eufaula last
Oh my gosh. The Brent Ayler video was the craziest video I'll ever see in a bass boat, period, in a story. And he's just cheesing. I loved everything about it. It was so Brent.
He's built different. Like he's totally built different.
Yes, he is.
I would not have been able to do that.
Oh, and I think Randy Howe got stuck in it as well. Like Randy's posts were crazy. He was like tagging his wife. He's under this little bridge and he's like, yeah, I think it's right there, but it's between me and the ramp. And then he makes a post of the actual tornado. Like I've only seen a funnel cloud one time that I know of in my entire life, and it dang sure wasn't on the lake. Thank God.
Yeah, it's scary. I wouldn't have even gone out that day. Like in all honesty, I'd have just kept it parked.
Yeah,
maybe that's why they're on the BPT.
Yeah, no doubt.
Or the Elite Series, like those guys who go out and every single day, regardless. Like, I mean, I'm not afraid to keep it parked.
Are you saying it's because they're dumb?
No,
I'm going to say they're dumb. They're going.
I added or the Elite Series after that, so that couldn't be taken out of context.
No. Oh, that's okay. Even what I meant.
I'm saying because they're dedicated, because they practice regardless of the conditions, and therefore they understand the fishery better.
You thought I was making a why the hell would they fish the BPT joke? I wasn't.
I thought you were making.
I wasn't making that joke.
You've been known to in the past.
No, I haven't. What are you talking about? We never talk about that on here.
I'm just saying, just keeping it copacetic here. I'll say because of the dedication and talent factor that they practice under all conditions.
I knew what you meant. I mean, but
chug more of this Red Bull.
I feel like the lowlifers were going to jump on that with a baseball bat, but they didn't.
Yeah.
They did not take the bait from you, Matt. They did not. Indeed,
that would be a great, big tournament venue. I think those pools.
Yeah, dude, Wabasha and all that up there.
Yeah, I don't know why there hasn't been a.
I never understood that when I went there because the facilities were great. That town is amazing. No shot at La Crosse, but I liked Wabasha way better. I actually was at the same time, right? The B-Rob tournament was right before our FLW out of La Crosse, so we could all fish that tournament. I loved that area way more than that La Crosse area.
And you can get up into, Pool 4 has a lot of backwaters. Like I say, you can go down into Pepin, but then you can go down into the Red Wing area, which is more kind of walleye-ish. Uh-oh, here we go. Did I freeze or did I get it in time?
You killed it.
I got it in time. And then you can lock into Pool 5, and it's massive as well. So I think you could spread 80 to 100 guys out there, no problem. You get the MPFL on that for next year.
Yeah, I'll let them know. They don't listen to me.
I mean, dude, it's like we had a 3.56 pound average, and we weighed in 4 largemouth and 8 smallies.
Unbelievable.
That's pretty strong. And there was like a 580 largemouth and like a 570 smallmouth.
I feel like they catch them like that every year at that thing too. When you look at those,
there's just a ton of freaking 3 to 4 pounders in that place.
And maybe La Crosse would be better if they went there in May too, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like the tournaments are always scheduled there at the worst times, like August.
Yeah.
September. Like, let's go there in the spring of the year.
Yeah, like the Open's going to suck when we're there, 12, 14 a day.
Yeah.
Or in my case, 9.
Come on, Matt. You're too hard on yourself.
I'm a little bitter. It's the first spotted bass tournament that I haven't cashed in an Open, and I thought I was going to cash. Like, I thought I was going to cash. Like, it did not cross my mind that I would have less than 11 pounds in that tournament. Like, I thought that was, like, low end, and then I come in with 9 and 8. I
saw your post, and I could feel it was palpable, the frustration.
You fished that lake, and it was good when the ABT was there. Dude, I wanted to just punt every 8 to 10 inch spotted bass in that place. Casey Scanlon was so bitter about this. So you roll your little deal, and I was throwing a little Kitech past the dock, and you see the 2 1/4 pounder come out after it. And then, like a bat out of hell, 50 of these little, I have to be careful because I know you allow cussing on your show, but I would call these things anything but a friendly name, would just come out of nowhere, go, and then the 2 pounder would just sink out of sight, and you'd end up with like a little rat that was like 8.5 inches, and it was every cast on every freaking dock that had a school of these 8 to 10 inchers on it.
Oh, man.
Is that accurate? I mean,
yeah, that's accurate.
Oh, dude, I wanted to take them home and eat them.
I recorded a podcast with Miss K today from ABT, and I said there's a bass every 6 inches on Logan Martin. There really is, dude.
It's a 6-inch bass. It's 6 inches.
It's kind of like Lake Martin and Logan Martin. Apparently, it's something to do with the name Martin for real. They have more bass than anywhere, but catching a 2.5 to 3 pounder can be very difficult at times. I've worked 3 events there this year between 2 ABTs and an MPFL, man. And it is, it kicks them out, but it is tough.
I'm not saying it's a bad, I'm not bad. About a bad tournament. I mean, you look at the spotted bass guys, you look at what Tucker did, what Emil did, Mia had a rough tournament, but a lot of the guys are supposed to catch and figure out how to catch 12 to 14 a day. And they looked like big giant cousas that they were catching. And I'm sure they had a great time out there calling 2 pounders. Good for them. But that's just my experience of it. And I never figured dialed in the I thought I had it dialed in. I had it dialed in the last, for 3 days of practice, but it is what it is. And it doesn't handle pressure well at all.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. So that about the 3 events, right? 3 big events. There's countless other events there. Alabama comes out to party. They're going to fish, right? And that lake does not handle. I worried about a 225 boat, open with just 3 days or 5 days of relentless, 5 of relentless practice. By the time Thursday rolls around, man, they're educated. They know the drill down there.
I did the Cardinal Sin. I roll out on Saturday, and there's like a high school tournament, another tournament, pleasure boats everywhere. I drop the trolling motor. I've got like 14.5 pounds in the first couple hours. And I'm like, yeah. So then, of course, I do the $250 order of specialty baits that night and pay the $50 shipping because I only had 2 of them, and I cast 1 of them off. And then I don't try that for a day or 2, and then I pick it back up, and it's like 3 pounder, 2.5, and I'm like, yeah, I'm still dialed. And then I find a secondary, and then like the last day and a half of practice, I'm like, okay, let's go, and it's just like ghost town. And then you realize there's a guy 2 docks in front of you, and those 2.5 days, like they've just been getting freaking obliterated. And yeah,
Yep.
and it's the like even offshore fish are real tough to catch. You had to catch them like when they're vulnerable, like up on the bait is the only way you could get one of those fish to bite.
Unbelievable, man. And there's a lot to be said for big events like that. And what about practice, right? Like people sticking them, because as you just said, you go through and you're thinking, oh, dude, I'm dialed and I'm shaking them and different things. And then the other 37 boats that come right behind you or were in front of you did not do the same thing.
Yeah.
It's tough, man.
It is what it is.
It is what it is, right? Because somebody's going to win. Somebody's going to prevail. Somebody's going to figure it out. Josh Butler, can we talk about the fact that he called a Coosa River unicorn? a 7-11 the first day? Like,
yeah, that was nuts.
I said that's
him a little bit. He's super talented. Like, it doesn't surprise me at all that he won an open. What surprises me is like that he hasn't done better in the opens during his time on it, to be honest.
Or in the, he fished the invitationals. He had a little bit of success there as well. But dude, he is a guy, when you're in my part of the world, like you very much know Josh Butler. Like he's taking your money. If you fish tournaments against Josh Butler, he's taking your money. So it's no surprise. I thought it was really cool for him to get the win on Logan Martin though, in front of a hometown crowd, man. Very, very cool for him. Very proud for him. I don't know how much money he's won on the Alabama Bass Trail. I know he's won Alabama Bass Trails, but I'm not sure the overall. She doesn't keep up with that, but it's a lot. Good dude. Very good dude. Well, how are we feeling about the rest of the season? I know you like to be hard on yourself, dude, but you've been known to catch a few this year as well. So you need to calm down with beating yourself up.
Oh, I am. I'm good. I mean, I feel like I'm a realist. I don't feel like I'm tough on myself, but I like it. I mean, it's Eufaula, which it'll be interesting to see if that water stays up. I don't think it'll be a scope fest like it was last year. And then we go up north. It's like some fun tournaments: St. Clair, Leech, Hartwell. So, I mean, what this tournament did was, I mean, I can fish for a win in 5 tournaments and actually enjoy the process. It's not an enjoyable, you've been there, Luke, it's not an enjoyable process when you're trying to grind it out and you're in the hunt. It's enjoyable when you catch them, but like, it's one of those deals where you don't realize how much stress there is on the opens until you either tank and fully experience it, or you save yourself in the last minute, and then you just are like, holy cow, that was a lot of stress I was under. So I just get to go fish free, have fun, and catch the fish in the next 5 and still try to finish as high as I can. Who knows what's going to be available to fish next year. So, I mean, I'm not going to like nail it in and not try to get as many points as I can every tournament, if you know what I mean.
No, I get it, buddy. I think that Leech Lake one's going to be fun for everybody. I'm looking forward to seeing how that one plays out. We kind of know how St. Clair will go. But I think Leech is a big unknown for a lot of the anglers in the field. So I think that one will be cool. And I think the points race is so topsy-turvy in the opens this year. Do you feel that way? Like, it's not like last year. Yeah, it's not like last year.
Yeah, like the great equalizer was Santee Cooper. I mean, you look at like Tucker and Emil, like 100-something and 200, and then they come back up. Like last year, if you finished below 70th, you were done. And this year, you're going to have a guy who makes it who finished below 150th in one tournament. So
certainly
I like that.
Yeah, I would rather see it that way, to be honest. Like in 9 events, you should be able to have a bad one. Yeah. I mean, because it's going to happen, honestly, right? Dude, I'm looking over your shoulder at this boat break.
Yeah.
And I got to ask you this. I've never ran those, but are you hearing all the talk about these potential bans next year, limitations?
Yeah, I think that's the dumbest. I'll go straight up. You heard it here.
Let's go.
Out of all the things you could ban, or all the things.
You cut out. Hang on. Now I can hear you. Now I can hear you.
I wanted to make sure this rant. I wanted to make sure this rant was full. Trust me, I'll go on this on BTL as Bass or MLF or anybody who gets closer to this decision. Out of all the things you could ban, you could limit, you could monitor, you could take away, Two 40-pound thrust trolling motors on the back of your power poles are the dumbest thing they could limit. And I think the only reason that it's an issue is because there's a couple people making a lot of noise with it who feel like they have some pull in the industry who can't put those things on because of sponsor obligations. They say you can stroll with it, you can cheat. Guess what? You can do that with this trolling motor up front.
I promise
There's a reverse button on the power pole move trolling motor. You want to take the reverse button off of the power pole move? You want to make it illegal to go reverse on this trolling motor? It is the exact same as it is with the big motor and this trolling motor. You can't lead a fish. You can't stroll. You can't use it. I've had an hour-long conversation with them about it. They are an awesome tool. They're deep water power pole anchors. You can go with the wind. You can position the boat. It's another tool just like Spot Lock is. And the fact that it is even consideration that this thing is going to get banned or thought of because there's the potential for cheating, then you might as well ban treble hooks and weights too, because it makes it a hell of a lot easier to snag a fish with those.
No doubt about it. I think it's, I said it on this show many times, it's a slippery slope when we start doing this. It just is, man, because if you're telling me those two things on the back of your boat right there, and God bless you for running them, I just don't want them hanging off my truck.
And full disclosure, I'm sponsored by Power Brakes. I run the ad every single day.
Yeah, that's fine.
I've been to the owner's house, the whole 9 yards. So I have an in on it, but I also see the benefit of it. And to me, it's just like Spot Lock.
That's exactly what I was going to say. How could you ban that and not ban Spot Lock and trolling motors? I've said that from the jump. How can you ban all this stuff and not ban power poles?
Honestly, because I think there's a couple guys that want to have those right there on their boats, and what's on the front of their boat, the people don't want those on the back of their boats. So if they can't have it, they make a big enough fuss to try to make sure that no one has it because they know that they are effective.
I love it. And it's true. It's only, things are only allowed if they give certain people an advantage. We're starting to see that.
And like I said, I will talk about this on BTL. I would love to get someone from the tech committee on my boat, standing on that front deck, using those things and saying, look what I can do with these, that has nothing to do with cheating, strolling, lure, tagging a fish along, and then say, okay, look what I can do with my front troll. I can do the exact same thing. You're playing under the same rules.
Yes.
I mean, dude, it drives me nuts. They are pretty cool though, because like if you look up front, you just have like little stomp buttons right up there.
Yeah.
And then that works, and then they're on the back. Like there's a couple different iterations of them, the Power Brakes. And then this is the cool thing. So one of the cool things about them is like there's a breakaway deal right here. So like if you get this thing stuck on a stump like I did at Washita, it just breaks. And then I just carry extra bolts in my console and I just put a new screw in the top and I'm good to go again.
That's awesome. This is the best LBL ever, by the way. The fact that you're doing this from your boat and we're getting a Matt Pangrac boat tour is amazing to me. I love this. So Ronnie Mueller in the comments says, do it like NASCAR. Everyone has the same thing. I don't necessarily disagree with that, but man, it's just, it's hard with the way our industry is set up.
Yeah. Not the same thing, but there needs to be a limitation. I don't care. I mean, I do care if it's Power Brakes, but as far as everything else, just tell us what the limit is. Let us put our own brands, however we want to configure it, but just give us a dang limit so we don't have FOMO, fear of missing out, as far as transducers, as far as number of units, as far as what we have, what pointing where. Just tell us how many transducers we have, how many inches of graphs, and let us go. See,
I'm hearing right now it's going to be like 60 inches of screen, which is like 5/12s. What does that do?
That's what I'm saying. I don't even know what you're going to do with 60 inches of screen.
That does nothing. That does nothing. That's not going to stop the complaining from people that are like, you're pricing people out. You know what I mean? Like the people that are adamant about a lot of this, I don't think you're going to calm that down. And then they're going to limit it, from what I'm hearing, this is proposed, to forward emitting transducers, but one of those could be a Minn Kota a Humminbird 360. So you can't have
counting that as a deucer. So
that is what I'm hearing.
2 LVS 34s or 1 LVS 34 and a 360.
Yes. So you could not have.
I got mine. I feel like I had mine. Like I thought it was like it's actually pretty basic, but it's just like, I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
Perspective. Forward.
Mm-hmm.
2 12s on the beat down mount. Good to go.
Yeah, it's simple. I love it.
Which isn't simple. It's 2 freaking 34 transducers and 2 black boxes and 2 12s. But I mean, if they're trying to limit we can have this. I don't even want to get into this discussion, but there's just two different things. If you're trying to limit the optics of pricing people out, or are you trying to change the way the tournaments are being fished and won? Because this does not, like, it's done, here to stay. This is the new way. Like, if they limit it at this, if they keep it to 2 transducers and 60 inches of screen, like, dude, I mean, like, Drew Gill and a bunch of the guys are like doing this with 1 forward one, and they're like, yeah, I could
Patrick
do it with
Walters.
a 32 and a 9-inch screen. If you gave it to me, like, I'd still catch almost as many.
Yeah, you can give them a screen the
for a
size of
guy
my
like me,
iPhone.
it helps a lot to have the bigger screens and that type of stuff. But like, I'm not a guy who's done it from the womb. But like I said,
what a great statement. I love that, but that is what these guys feel like to me.
Yeah.
I feel like Drew Gill has been live scoping since he was born 3 years ago.
Yeah. You know, have you spent time around him? That dude is like super tall.
Dude, no, I met him at
like
Red Crest in person for the first time. Yeah, he's a big boy.
Yeah.
I met him at Red Crest. I had him on the show. We actually did a live one night, and I knew nothing going in other than just clips I'd seen and different things, and he blew my mind on the show. I mean, having a conversation with him just makes me feel like I need to sell all my tackle.
Yeah, I actually did followed his strategy at Washita. And I was like, by God, here they are. And then I cashed a check. And then I didn't do it the last 2 for some reason.
Just go scoping.
Yeah.
That's it. You got to commit to it. That's apparently the thing. I mean, it obviously didn't work out for him too much this week, but Drew he still almost won you follow.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, man. Well, ban heated seats coming in the comments from RJC. Ban heated seats. Yeah, I'm with that.
I've only been in like one boat with those, and they're handy.
No, they are. Yeah. That's all Jason Duran. Shout out Jason on the ABTs brags about in his Phoenix is his heated seats when it's cold. It's all
what I want when it's cold. I want a heater like under my driver's seat that blows hot air down. So like when you catch a fish or you have to cull and it's the winter time, you can like turn it on and then it's like a dryer underneath there, and then you can put your hands underneath there and warm them back up so you can feel your fingers to make sure your minnows on your jig head straight before you catch another one.
So you can shake your minnow appropriately.
Is that not a great idea?
Well, you know, Matt, I know a guy that owns a boat park company, so here I'm working on the hand heater. I'll give you a royalty.
It would be phenomenal.
Well, I will give you a royalty, the BTL hand warmer.
And then I also want a cold weather P tube that is universal and can attach to any rain suit, where you zip it up around the zipper and then you wear it like a jock strap. So, and then it like folds around and has like a holster on the side. So then when it's -20 out or it's raining, you don't have to unzip everything to take a leak. You can just whip out the tube and hang it over the side and you're good to go. And then shake the tube out, put it back in the holster, and you're back to shaking your minnow. I think about
You can't freeze on that. You can't send back to shaking your minnow and end on that.
I know it keeps.
It's okay.
Is that not a great idea too, though?
It's pretty incredible. You got my wheels turning.
I mean, what do you hate when it's cold? You stand up and you're like, yeah, I gotta pee.
Yes. Or just wearing rain gear, period. I will say. I hate when I'm like, ugh, I've got to get through these layers.
It doesn't matter. AFCO, Gill, any of it.
Yeah, any of them. Oh, that's right.
You can't have any quality rain gear. It's a pain in the butt to pee. But a built an aftermarket pee tube would sell like hotcakes in November, December, January, and February.
If Southern Boating Supply's first big product is a winterization pee tube,
can that be a signature series?
That is in your signature series. We've got 2 products. You guys are listening to it here, you low lifers. This is an R&D meeting with my new pro staffer for Southern Boating Supply, Matt Pangrac, coming in hot. I mean, you've got some ideas. I will give you that, Matty.
Those are my 2 things. Dude, I've literally been up for like 128 hours.
Well, dude, here's the deal. I appreciate you taking the time to do this. I want to get you back on the road because I know from Shreveport to your girlfriend's house, you still got a little bit of a poke
Yeah,
there.
like 5 minutes ago, she just got out of the truck and walked in the Lucky Jack. So who knows?
Whoa, you may be there. You may be staying there,
Might have
bud.
to ease into the Lucky Jacks. Have you ever thought about, like, think of all the money? This will be my closing thought. Think of all the money you spent, like when you fish the tour or the opens and all that. So pool. So it's roughly like
A lot.
$40,000 a year, including expenses and all that. You've got a 49.8% chance of basically winning a roulette spin. You know, you got 0 and 00 in there too. But if you just put it on red or black, statistically, on average, you would make way more money if you took that 40,000, you divided it into 8, and then you took whatever it is for each tournament. You have 0 overhead. You don't have to stay anywhere. You walk in and you put it on red, and by the end of the year, you compare that to if you were just doing it to make money and not for life enrichment and progress and potential. It's way smarter to take 40 grand, split it into 8, go in and put it on red 8 times during the year and walk out.
You are on, I mean, just on with that one, like dead on. Put the crosshairs on it and pull the trigger. Because I've said this so many times. I'm like, do you know what I could have done had I spent $40,000 to $80,000 a year doing literally anything else?
Yeah.
But damn, how much fun have we had, Matt? Look at my beard. It's been so much fun. It hasn't been stressful at all. My beard was brown when I started fishing.
I was trying to grow it, and Courtney was like, "You going with the beard at the St. Jude?" And I was like, "Is that a question or a statement?" And she just kind of looked at me, and I was like, "That's a statement."
That was a statement.
But I have like a section right here. It's like baby skin smooth. Never been able to grow hair in this like one circle right here. It's so weird. I don't know why. And then like I get the Andrew Luck neck beard.
The Andrew Luck neck. I get a little neck beard action sometimes.
But you have it up here, and then this looks like Zaldane's, which is just awful.
Can we do a podcast? I'll come on BTL. You can come back on LBL to just talk about Zaldane's mustache.
Yeah.
It'll be short, but it'll be fun.
It is. I think he missed an opportunity. I think all of his News Out Dangerous swim baits all in there should have a little mustache.
I'm going to start drawing them on.
With a Sharpie.
That's how I'm going to buy some more tomorrow. And I'm going to Sharpie that and just Sharpie those and tag Chris in every single one of those pictures. Oh my goodness. Matt Pangrac, I appreciate you, dude. You're a fantastic human being. Congrats again. And good on you for all the amazing things you're doing through that show of yours that I'm a fan of, buddy. You're a good one. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Luke. I greatly appreciate it, man. 4 hours from Fort Worth. I'll be asleep as soon as my head hits the pillow tonight.
All right, buddy. Be safe, and hope everybody at home is doing safe and sound in this crazy weather. Be safe, buddy.
All right. See ya.
Matt Pangrac, everybody. Right there. Appreciate him. Too cool being able to pull over the side of the road and give us some time there. So y'all be sure to let Matt know how much you appreciate that. I know that I sure do. Pulling over on the side of the road at a damn Lucky Jack's Casino there for 279,000 folks on Low Budget Live, actually live. Panger's just letting it fly tonight. I'm digging it. Yeah, that was fantastic, man. I couldn't have asked for a better LBL. Shame on the folks that aren't hanging with us that missed that. He was definitely on a roll. As I mentioned at the first of the show, I wanted to say again, sorry for not being able to have Zach Burge on tonight. That was going to be a thing. Zach and I talked. And again, if you're just joining in, I'll show you what Mr. Burge is dealing with. I just got a text from Gerald Swindle that said, "I'm going to bed. What's up?" I tried to call him at the first of the show if you're just joining in. But this is Zach's right here, basically where the weatherman is pointing, that is where Zach is at tonight. Oklahoma is under attack yet again by this terrible weather. And so he and his family, they have a tornado shelter. They were going to spend more time in it tonight than he was on Low Budget Live, trust me. So I appreciate him giving us opportunity, but I completely understand that he couldn't be on tonight. Spencer Smith, a black and blue jig caught me my first ever jet ski pilot. He drove between me and the shore, and I accidentally snagged him. He broke me off. I don't know if that's what the LOB was designed for, Spencer, but I'm here for it. Great job. Thank you, Samuel. Super show. Luke, before you go, my son and his partner finished second in the Bass Tactics State Tourney on Neely Henry and did it without forward-facing sonar. Well, congrats to your son on that. That's great, man. I'm absolutely all about this youth movement, man. I worked that Arkansas Game and Fish Foundation Commissioner's Cup again, over 70 teams. The state of Arkansas and several other sponsors like Express Boats donated money, donated prizes. The top 3 went home with scholarships. But it's just amazing to me to look out there and see over 140 kids from the ages of, around the 6th grade, so 12 years old, all the way to seniors in high school, bass fishing, man. It did not exist when I was a kid like that competitively, and it's pretty awesome. Maybe you could have Trey McKinney to give his side of the story. I hope G didn't have to file a protest. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously Bass made a decision and DQ'd him on that. Or not DQ'd him, excuse me, penalized him based on that. So G's in the no wake zone. Yeah, he is. Luke, you're training them to kick our ass. They're training themselves. YouTube and all the fishing information, and then they just put. I will say, like a guy like Fisher and I. Shout out to Fisher. Fisher, 18 years old. He and his dad Ryan are leading the Alabama Bass Trail North Angler of the Year. He just finished 3rd at Chickamauga over there. I think he finished 6th, but he finished 3rd overall in the freaking Toyota Series points in that group of hammers. Just insane, man. 18 years old, just puts in the dadgum work. McKinney is 0 for 1 in no wake zones in 2024. All right, y'all are killing me. Luke, you need to grow your build out like Stephen Crawley. I miss my buddy Crawley. I hope he's doing well in life. I hadn't seen him. I don't see how in the world Logan Martin is still the fisher it is with all the pressure it gets. I understand that. It kicks him out. If I missed it, will you comment on Blockhead's admission to posing for the 1989 edition? Y'all are killing me tonight. I do need Matt Spencer. I agree. I do need Matt Steffen on LBO. We need to do an LBO with Mr. Matt. I'm a Matt Steffen fan. Bo wants to know when we are fishing. We're fishing soon, Bo. Dang it. That's my dude right there. I say, y'all go follow Bo on all things social media. He'd be catching them giants all the time on a big bait. He's got me addicted to it too. No doubt about it. Learning curve has been cut in half. I agree with that. All right, I'm going to take y'all out with some Biloxi Blues. I appreciate y'all. I say this every week, but if you do have a chance, go follow, if you would be so kind, go follow Southern Boating Supply on Facebook and Instagram. Keep up with all the goings-ons. We are going to be dropping some product very, very soon. We have it waiting in the wings, just ready to roll out, but going to have some hats available very soon as well for you guys. But I appreciate you. Yeah, I'll let you guys know. Ronnie Mueller coming in. I'll let you know when the Pangrac P-tube is ready to go. Oh, me. My friends are something else. Make it. My bad. Blew your ears out. Ladies and gentlemen, Biloxi Blues, I appreciate y'all, and I'll see y'all next week. See you.
Any direction, Lord, I'll be fine. It don't matter east or west, north, south, wherever the